Good afternoon. This is Ramblings of an Undisciplined Mind podcast for Saturday, December 3rd, 2016. So it's been a busy day today. You hear the rustling of a plastic bag. I actually burned my hand on my snowblower muffler, and it hurts like the dickens. So I've got a bag of ice here. I put my hand on it. So if you hear rustling of plastic, that's why. I thought I'd do some feedback today. I didn't do one last weekend because it was Thanksgiving. So I've got some stuff piled up here, so we'll just start going through it. So the first one was on episode 647, Visiting U.S. Customs, where I talked about how I did not go on the bridge to Canada, even though I was already on the road for the bridge to Canada. And Gary writes, I'm guessing you weren't the first person to not go to Canada. And you probably won't be the last. Sometimes you got to do what you got to do. And that's kind of how I looked at it. I don't know what I would have gotten for a ticket there, but if I gotten it, I was just like, whatever. I would have eaten it at that point. Kind of on a side note to that, we did get in the mail, I think it was yesterday, the cards. So we've now got our trusted traveler cards for global entry that include, they take your picture and both of ours, both the wife and mine, they look like, there should be a headline below it, that says, couple robs local bank or something. They look horrible. They look like, I don't know why. I mean, we weren't like in a lineup or anything, but yeah. And then on episode 646, the heat is on. That's the one where I talked about the furnace having been off, having been not working, and how good it was to have heat again. And Gary writes, we had the opposite problem when we moved to Alabama. The AC in our rental went out a couple of days after we moved into it, July of 2007. Thankfully, our landlord sent somebody to fix it. He checked the system out, but wasn't going to be able to get the part for a couple of days. Thankfully, he remembered that our landlord had other properties. One of them had a similar system, but wasn't occupied. So we borrowed the part from that house and got us cooling off later that day. Yeah, that must be nice. We had a cooling problem once, not here, but when it's actually in the first apartment that we lived in after we got married. And it was basically a window-mounted unit, but they cut a hole in the wall and put it in there, and then on the outside there was a covering that just provided some basic covering so like birds couldn't get into it or whatever. And it stopped working and they had to pull it out. And of course we're in the middle of a heat snap because you never notice if your air is not working when it's not cold or not hot. And it took them a few days. They weren't quite as on the ball. I remember I would come home and the first thing I would do is look over at the little nook where that air conditioner sat, and if I could look out and see through the grates of whatever this enclosure thing was, then I was like, oh, they didn't fix it. Darn. And that's it for the written feedback. I do get some other form of feedback, predominantly from Kane Dorr. He will +1 some episodes, so presumably those are ones that he's enjoyed. And so I wanted to just call him out for that because I do notice it. I do see it. I don't always remember to call it out on the feedback episodes. I probably should get better at that. But he's like the 641 on being a songbird, where I was talking about the concerts, and 640 fictional swearing, where I was talking about creating swear words for my nano novel. And then he actually not only +1, he doubled down on my episode What's with the Fries, number 652. He not only +1'd it in Google+, this is all Google+, he also reshared it. So thanks a lot, Kane. I really appreciate that. But yeah, I think that's about it. I've had a lot of activity on Twitter, but that's mainly been all around my nano posts. So not so much on the episodes. But that's really all I was going to go through today. So I guess we'll have it be a short one. Have a happy weekend. I am anxiously awaiting for the mail to get here so I get my Fallout New Vegas. We tend to get mid to late afternoon mail, although I thought they sometimes got here early afternoon on Saturdays, but they certainly didn't today because I've already checked the mailbox about 3 times. And I'll probably do a 4th when I get done with this and get back downstairs. So I will be back on Monday, and I'll be talking to you then. So be seeing you